Hello?
I'm still here trying to pull this up. A minute.
You're in a conference or something. I don't want to get you in trouble. Too late. Get out of here, boy.
Is Ramona there yet?
Nah, she hadn't got here. The bell just rung.
Oh, okay. I figured that. She said 3 o'clock. I sent you an email, and my question was, what are your learning outcomes for POE and or Project Real?
The folder that I gave you with the ALDs in it, those are our learning outcomes.
The small one with all the data in it?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't have data. It should have standards.
Hold on a second.
Hey. Yeah, she's here. Congratulations.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Well,
Kendra.
Good.
Kendra. Go ask Ms. Osborne about the and if you can get them today,
Mr. Beckett, are you talking about this book right here?
yes.
yeah.
So you're saying, like, based on your curriculum, these are the individual learning outcomes?
Yes.
But what about I guess a overarching outcome, learning outcome for the students in Project Real? Do you have one of those?
I don't have one of those.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we will move right along. Thank y'all for agreeing to meet with me online. I'm glad because the weather is nasty outside.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pouring out here too.
Yeah. So, Ramona, I did see your input on the Google Doc regarding the action plan. So I kind of incorporated that in what I put together.
I see that. Yeah, I'm reading this paper now, and I see that you have put some of it.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to, well, actually, before we start, Mr. Becker, have you had a chance to look at Alex?
I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna show like a quick 3-minute video on it. It is very short, and something is going on my computer. I keep getting all these pop-ups. So, but I do have a 3-minute video I can show real quick.
Artificially intelligent, web-based learning and assessment system. To understand what makes Alex the most effective learning system ever created, let's look at the science behind how it works. Science developed over decades of research at top universities. Let's take a look at Sam, a ninth grader who is struggling with Algebra 1. The first thing Alex needs to do is determine Sam's knowledge state. Sam's knowledge state is everything he already knows in Algebra 1. To get a basic understanding of what goes into computing a knowledge state, let's pretend that instead of consisting of several hundreds of topics, Algebra 1 only consisted of 5 topics. But even with only 5 topics, there are 32 possible knowledge states, or combinations of these topics. Now, some of these states are so impractical that in reality, there are actually only 13 feasible knowledge states that a student could fall into. All the feasible knowledge states are organized into a learning space, a mathematical structure specifying the relationships among the knowledge states and showing which topics the student is ready to work on. To move from one knowledge state to another within the learning space, a student must learn a new topic or forget a previously learned one. So our example consisting of hundreds of topics, there are over 1 trillion feasible knowledge states that
Oh, I have satellite.
fall into.
Right.
Alex can accurately and efficiently assess where each student is. Among these trillions of knowledge states and know their exact position at all times. This is no simple task, and it's a task that hasn't been achieved by any other program. All of this works because mathematical cognitive scientists and software engineers at Alex have spent years gathering data from millions of actual students using the program. This data allows Alex to construct all the feasible knowledge states and how they're structured together into a learning space, leading to personalized pathways to course mastery for every student, no matter where they start. It all begins with a free individualized assessment. Using learning space theory, Alex intelligently chooses each question based on the student's responses to all previous questions.
I see you ran away, so I'll pause it. I keep getting all these pop-ups. It's driving me crazy. All right, I'll restart it.
To determine what the student has mastered, not mastered, and exactly what topics he is ready to learn. The student sees their knowledge state as a multicolored pie chart, which lets them know what topics are available to explore. Everything happens step by step, one topic at a time, as Alex continually updates Sam's knowledge state and ready-to-learn possibilities. Alex constantly watches Sam and records his successes and failures, and this information is used to guide Sam along one of his optimal learning paths through the trillions of knowledge states in the learning space. Only Alex has that power. Because of this constant evaluation, Alex only presents topics that the student is actually ready to learn. Alex challenges the student without frustrating or boring, resulting in tremendous learning momentum and increasing confidence. Alex will periodically assess Sam to make sure that he is retaining the material he learns. Research shows that periodic assessments not only ensure retention, but actually increase it. A cycle of individualized assessment and adaptive learning continues throughout the course to ensure that Sam has truly mastered and retained the concepts presented. At the conclusion of the Alex course, Sam will have a deeper understanding of the material and dramatically improve mastery over the course topics. Alex has already helped millions of students succeed in math, chemistry, and accounting and thousands of schools, colleges, and universities. For more information or for a free trial, sign up at alex.com or call your Alex representative today.
Okay. So that kind of give you an idea of that program and why I recommend it, and so did Miss Sarah Silly. She liked it as well. I felt like compared to some of the other programs that are out there and other programs that the district in Keenan has access to, I felt that one was more appropriate in this case because the other ones were more, to me, if for a math class, you know, in isolation, like by itself. So what you're trying to do with your engineering class is use it as a supplement, like as a tool to help remediate and strengthen the skills. So because Alex, it meets the kids where they at, you know, based on their test. Wherever they test into, that's kind of like where they would start and build them up from that point. So that's why I felt like that was a better fit for this in this case.
Okay.
So Ms. Sarasili, would you be in charge of trying to get us a full demo for Alex? Because I only know as much as I researched on it and as much as I saw via videos, but to actually log into the account, you know, actually see how this thing worked, you know, like firsthand, and also get us the information in terms of if Mr. Beckett, if the administration approves and we're allowed to use this, with the engineering students, like how does it work? Because I know before you mentioned that they only have so many slots per school or something like that, but can you find out the particular details for us?
I said, however, Dr. Sima was in charge with the licenses for Keenan and she left. So
who's in charge of that?
Dr. Seawright.
Oh, okay, okay.
And since she left, I have to find out who's the next in line responsible of Alex. But yeah, I think I have a login username and password for Alex. I can play with it. So yeah.
Okay.
Um,
All right. All right. So with that, Mr. Beckett, I tried to do. We're gonna go through the action plan, and you guys could tell me if we need to make any adjustments and so forth. But I'm trying to take you through where we are now and where we need to go, because the whole goal is to improve the passing rate on the POE in the course exam, because over the 7-year period, the passing rate was only 20%. So as we looked at the data, we identified one of the key issues was the math skills. You know, we're lacking, specifically Algebra 1, which leads us to where we are now, trying to find an intervention, um, to put in place. So here we are. The first one says to recruit 30 students throughout the district for the engineering program, which is Project Real. But through that process, I was suggesting, and Mr. Beckett and I talked about this, we analyzed students' grades during the process, and the goal or the indicator of success for this particular activity would be to have at least 80% of the students to complete Algebra 1 with an overall average of 70% or greater, and also the end of course at 70% or greater. So, Ms. Araceli, if you have any adjustments you think or recommendations I need to make on that, let me know.
that sounds good. But wait a minute, I just want to go back on what you said. For me, do you want me to find out, I mean, do you want to use Alex as remediation for this school year or starting from next school year? Like,
yes, we want to start for the summer. We want to start, so basically the summer, July, I think is considered for next school year. So they will start in July and use it throughout the school year, so next school year.
So start with the current students Mr. Beckett has in his POE class.
So this is going to outline, let's go through this and you'll see exactly, because we're talking about two different groups of students. So the first group I'm referring to are going to be for the incoming freshmen for sure. Because remember that the goal of this particular group, well, the goal period is to increase the POE test scores, right? The end of course. So when they come in as a freshman, they take IED. They don't take POE. So since it's been an ongoing issue, we figured we start with a new set of students. Preparing them for a 2-year time frame will be, more than enough, we hope, to strengthen their math skills. However, we do have a current group we need to deal with, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So the recruitment process is what we're looking at. We're looking at trying to recruit students who are already, have shown a level of success in algebra because of the requirements and demands of the course, the engineering courses. So the next one says to plan and prepare summer plans for the Summer Bridge program. So basically from now until June, we're looking at, making plans, and whoever the math teacher will be involved in that, along with our PLC team. That's one of the things that we'll work on, as well as the STEM director. So for the new students, my suggestion is definitely to use Alex, but also use it in conjunction with regular classroom instruction, because the new students will not take POE that first year incoming. They'll take it the following year. So we have more time to work with those students. So that would be like a regular class, so to speak. But in this case, we would use Alex for pre and post tests for the summer program to see were there any gains and so forth. And that's the third one down here. Okay.
So we're looking at how many, like 60?
At least.
It will be,
60 licenses, 30 for the incoming freshmen and 30 for the current.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's that group. Let me see. Did I repeat that? Okay. Additionally, so in addition to, this is for the incoming freshmen, in addition to the pre and post test for Alex, we are also suggesting that they take the pre-test for the general engineering knowledge. The results of those were equally low overall, but Mr. Beckett, he wants his desire is for all the students to take that particular pre-test, but we'll post-test them at different points because that test is a little different. That test basically reflects knowledge over several engineering courses, not just one. And so it's recommended from Project Lead the Way and also Mr. Beckett to give it several different increments. So we'll give it as a pre-test with them coming into the engineering program. And this particular group, we're talking about the new group of students, they'll post-test or take one of the post-tests in December for that particular one. So what we're looking for in that is at least a 20% increase in their score, 20% growth there. All right, so I'll try the color code a little bit. So the blue means now we're referring, the white is the all incoming new students. The blue is referring to students who, for everyone, for the incoming as well as current students. So the idea is for us to start with all the students with Alex in the summertime, but continue it throughout the year through their homeroom once a week. So Mr. Beckett says that they're all in the same homeroom. So while they're in homeroom, they would work at least 30 minutes a week on Alex. And whoever the director is of Project Real next year will be checking that progress. We put on a bi-weekly basis. So what we're looking for is level gain, and this is where we need more detail about Alex. Ms. Page provided us with this information because she used it a little. And she was saying there's a level gain, for each, I guess, topic and so forth. I don't know the details of it. That's why we need to see it. But that's what we're looking for. We're looking for accuracy. We don't just want the kids to click through it. We're looking for 80% accuracy on each topic there. And that's across the board. That's for all engineering students. Which brings me to the last ones. The last color is like a grayish, and that's for all current students. So these things will happen concurrently, but of course I had to separate them out on the chart. Current students who plan to take POE in the fall will attend the summer program and work in a computer lab where they can use Alex to improve their math skills. So we want to invite these students back. They will not necessarily receive direct instruction because supposedly they've already been successful in Algebra 1. They've taken at least one engineering class. The idea is to get them engaged with Alex to improve and strengthen their math skills. And as we know, Alex will level them based on where they are. So it's kind of like a self-guided kind of tutorial, for the current students. Of course, there will be a teacher in the classroom to answer questions as they, go along through the system. But that's the idea behind that. What are your ideas on that? What are your thoughts on that one? You think they'll be able
to add something? Based on Mr. Beckett's strict needs, like wherever the areas you think they need improvement, rather than just go generally starting with the proportion, because Alex takes you really low. You have to set up, that's what my suggestion would be. Like if you want them to work on trigonometry, for example, or you want them to work on logarithm, whatever you're using in class.
Okay.
So maybe, and here, indeed, I have to see how the Alex works, if you can set it up on starting, you picking up the chapters, that's what I mean.
Okay.
But if not, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's from what I've read, it looks like it's per course, but I do know they have a customization option as well. But it does look like per course, like trig is, they individual courses, but I'm not really sure, but we do need to define that a little more. Okay. But how do you feel about the students coming in to work online and no direct instruction?
as far as the math and the Alex? Do you think? No.
From what I've heard, Alex is really good. I haven't worked with Alex personally, but I went to 2 workshops the district provided, and I really like it. I think it's a good. They don't have what the guy in charge told us is that they don't have a database with problems, but they simply the computer generates questions based on how the student performed. So it's kind of personalized. I don't know what's the extent is because many of these tools, they say personalized, it's not personalized. But yeah, from my point of view, I think it's a good tool. It's probably the best tool that we have. And these students should be able to, because if they have taken engineering for how many years? 1 or 2?
These are the 2.
2 years, they should be able to work on their own.
Yeah, and this group is going to be the most important group because we're hoping that the intervention that we put in place, will impact, will have the immediate impact, of course. But this is a group that's going to be the first group for us to determine if what we're doing is working or not, because they're going to take POE, in the fall. The other group, the incoming freshmen, that's our long-term group, to see if those interventions work when they actually complete the assessment. But these will, we'll know right away within this year if we made a difference in that intervention. The other thing I was thinking about, some students may not be able to come to the summer program, but if we're using Alex and it's online, surely they can do it wherever they are. They could be traveling or whatever. I was thinking about that too as an option. I wouldn't advertise that option, but I would, make it an option if students express the fact that they can't come, So that's a suggestion.
Or maybe make a choice, like a 2-week teacher versus Alex online. Is that too much?
What was the choice you gave? The 2 weeks?
Like 2 weeks, I see that you have a time set up, July 9, July 19th. 2 weeks classroom teacher coming to school versus online work.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
If that's not too much.
It could be an option.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. Current PLC students will take cumulative quarterly exams to assess for content mastery. So again, we're trying to improve those test scores, and currently Mr. Beckett is giving interim exams and midterms, but they're not cumulative. And so we feel like we collaborate on that. We feel like changing it to cumulative, we will be able to kind of really gauge how they're doing as far as being prepared for the end of course exam. So at that point, we can use that data to reteach and or adjust accordingly if we have that data moving forward. Not just giving them the test, but actually doing something with it. Like, okay, they didn't get this particular topic, so making plans to reteach and so forth. So we're looking for a passing score of at least 70% in this area. The question is, again, what happens if we don't have a passing score of 70%? And that's where we need to reteach and so forth. And I also put down the STEM PLCT, I can't talk, PLC team can also take a look at this data as well. And the last one I have, the current POE students will take an exam cram offer 3 weeks before the exam. So before the actual exam, I know this is a strategy that we used in algebra previously that was pretty effective. Doing an exam cram, just really focusing on exam questions, the content, for how long did we say? It's offered 3 weeks before the exam, but also I'm sure that teacher will see, and during that exam cram, the holes that they might need to address in the regular classroom. So that's one reason why we looked at doing it 3 weeks ahead of time, to give you time to reteach if necessary and trying to bridge those gaps. Now the question, Mr. Beckett, is where would this take place and when is it going to be? Would it be after school? Would it be Saturday? I know Miss Sarah Silly put Saturday sessions. Like, where would you want this to fit?
Well, it could be Saturday and during the homeroom period.
Okay.
Because we would have them for that 30 minutes each day.
Okay. When I did it at another school, we did do it on Saturday as well. But it was for like a couple of consecutive Saturdays, not just one Saturday. So for example, my daughter's school is doing it now. They're preparing for state tests. So they're doing like 6 consecutive Saturdays at her school, half a day. So I don't know. And these are things we need to determine because our next step once we finalize this is pretty much discussing it with administration because we need funding for this. If they approve it, like, if you want to do Saturday sessions or you want to do summer programs, like we need to make sure we have funding, or they need to see if they have funding in place for us to do it.
Right.
How many Saturday sessions you think for the exam cram?
Well, it will be the 3 weeks, so wouldn't we have 3?
3 sessions? You think that's enough?
Yeah.
You think it's enough? Okay.
With the homeroom periods as well. So basically, they would have 6 days for 3 weeks.
Okay. All right. And homeroom. So the homeroom teacher, is the homeroom teachers, they're engineering teachers?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So anything you think I should add or take away from this action plan? Yeah, I got quiet on me over there.
I don't see anything to add. I was just thinking about the recruiting of the 30 students. But we have the 70% in the class and 70% on the ELC, so we have that covered.
You have it covered already? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, it's already in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, your principal he told me that that's the goal, to get 30 students. Did he express that to you?
Yes.
If you're funded for 30 students, so I mean, have you guys started recruiting yet?
Yeah, we have about 17 students that have shown interest because they went and did pre-registration at Sanders.
Okay.
And I have about 3 students who, after that period, Mr. Williams is over at Sanders at the Montessori School, but he knows a couple of students over there, so he recommended that they look at the program. So we have about 17 students that are potential.
How about
Okay.
We haven't been to Alcorn yet, but normally what I do is after spring break, I'll contact the teachers and I'll actually go, and if the teachers want me to, I'll teach a lesson for them and kind of meet the students and give them applications. So we get a few students from there as well.
I was thinking the robotics competition was another opportunity to, give out flyers and stuff and pamphlets and applications, but I guess we wasn't thinking about it at the time.
Yeah. Well, you say robotics competition. Oh, you're talking about the RIP challenge.
Yeah, the RIP challenge. Yeah.
Right. And I can make contact with those teachers who brought students. Actually, especially because she brought two groups. So I'll make contact with her as well.
So that's another note to put down for the future if you continue that particular competition. I know initially you wanted to do rotating sessions. So, if you're able to see that through next year, one of your sessions could be, your recruitment session for the engineering program for Project Real. So, and you can even offer on the spot
Interview.
admissions, so to speak. You know, like you could tell them in advance so they could bring their little transcripts. You know, that kind of hype it up, so to speak. So that could be that just could be something you add on to that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So we pretty much clarified. So what Miss Sarah Silly, she's gonna do some research, more research for us. So that our next meeting, Miss Sarah Silly, we hope that you can show us some more detail with Alex and give us that information, because we don't want to be making all these plans and we can't have access to it, and the students can have access to it.
Wait a minute, sorry to interrupt, but I just popped an idea. These 30 students don't have to be from our feeders, right?
No.
Because they can be
district.
anyway, all students from the whole district, right? Because since this is going to be a magnet school, right?
Yes, that's why I was suggesting to him, because he had students from all over the district at the RIP challenge. At that time, he could have used it as a recruitment event.
Mr. Whaley, our principal is here.
Oh, hey, Mr. Whaley. I can't. we doing our PLC, sir.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Well, I have to take that out of the box. I can get it first thing in the morning. Okay. That was good, Ms. Battle.
All right, you too. Thank you. Okay. But yes, Ms. Sarah, you are right. They can be from all over the district.
So maybe on, I don't know who goes on Keenan website, if teachers really go particularly, but I don't know, maybe a sort of advertising or online advertisement.
Well, I think that's what we're supposed to do, is have that on the
Richmond One website.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, for the magnet programs.
And maybe we can discuss further a recruitment day that you can have at the school. We'll talk about that more. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Most of the assessments that I have on this action plan are summative. Can you think of any formative assessments, Ms. Sarah Silly especially, and also Mr. Beckett, that we can possibly add to this? Informative is, I guess, coming from the classroom, the teacher, that kind of thing. But I don't really have any on our plan.
Yeah, because right now the quizzes are basically like today we had a trigonometry quiz based on learning vectors, and so those formative assessments right now are kind of looking at application of the concepts.
Okay.
And so that would fit into the group that is already in the POE class.
So the ones entering the POE class, I think I put, I put monitor daily progress. So for instance, so this summer, this is what this one is referring to. This summer they're in Alex, and so they're computer based. So you're saying the formative is what?
Basically the project-based quizzes. So using the math concepts with the project. So basically the application of the concepts.
Okay. So are you gonna do projects with them this summer?
Yes. Well, wait a minute. Which group is this?
This is the current students.
Right now with the current students, we were talking about doing leadership. So there would be like more, like we do the projects to like team build. And
yes.
So I do like the bridge competition or something like that, but just taking it a step further to having them to do that basic design and drawing it out. We just have to make sure that we kind of focus on the math of it in addition to the design.
Okay. So let me see. So I think that's more in line with, I think I gotta move this down, like preparing for the quarterly exams, because then in the classroom they're doing more of the project-based applications, right?
Right.
So this summer, The formative is I don't know. So they're gonna be doing Alex half a day and doing something else the other half of the day, or what?
Right now in my mind, they would be doing Alex for the 2 weeks. We would take like 2 days to just do like leadership things. So they wouldn't be for lack of a better way of saying it, they would not be the focus for the majority of that 2 weeks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
2 days, they would be the focus.
Well, you see, I recommended 3 weeks also, just so you know. I don't know if it'll get approved, but I recommended 3 weeks based on the data that I saw. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Mika,
Yes.
Alex leads you through lesson by lesson, concept by concept. So I'm thinking that every day they have formative assessment from Alex.
Yes, they do. They do. They have ongoing performance. And another feature of Alex that I like is that they give periodic cumulative assessments to make sure they're retaining the information and they're gaining, skills. So and if they don't do well on those cumulative assessments, I guess they recycle the content in. They have to revisit it. So that's again based on what I've read, but I would like to see it in action to be able to speak more about it. Okay, so let's see. So, Mr. Beckett, what do we need you to work on for next time?
Jenkins, if you're in the building, please come to the front desk. So Jenkins, if you're still in the building, please come to the front desk.
Another thing I wanted
Is it time for me?
Huh?
I was going to ask, is it time for me to talk to administration about the funding and scheduling?
No, but you know what we can do? Because I want to talk to them as a team, the three of us.
Okay.
So what we can do, you and I, Mr. Beckett, I guess start working on a presentation. We can do it via Google Slides, so we can collaborate on putting it together to share with the administration. So that's what we could work on. But of course, I don't want to move forward with that until we have the info from Ms. Sarah Steele, so we can speak a little more intelligently about it. And plus, we would need to know more from her so for budgeting reasons, to see if that's something the district is going to pay for, or they will have to incur the cost. I guess the other thing is, if the regular math teachers are using Alex, I think all they would have to do is continue to use it with you. I don't think it'd be a separate account.
Okay.
And I guess that's something else we need you to research, Ms. Sarah Steele.
It is a separate account depending on the student. The account is on student, not on teacher.
Okay, so but if they're doing, like, let's say an Algebra 1 teacher is using Alex, and we want to use it for Alex.
And some of the students move to engineering, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, will it be like the same account, or do they have to get a separate account, or what?
I think it's just the same account, but it's a yearly license that you have to buy.
Okay, but we would need to, I guess, figure out how that will work. I think only one teacher right now is using it, right, Miss Blue? I think she's.
I know.
We need to think through that. We might need to think through that, and bring, talk to Miss Young about that. We'll figure that out after you get some more information up for us. Okay. Well, when are you guys available to meet again?
I'm trying to look at the dates.
Saturday meeting?
So we probably will have another PLC week next week. The 26th might be a faculty meeting.
All right, so you want us to meet next week, the 19th?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I'll put it down. That sounds good. Any other questions or concerns?
No?
Everybody's good? Well, all righty then. I will meet with you guys again next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Angela. Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see if I can figure out how to work this system. All right.